Alo, xin chào mọi người. Hôm nay chúng mình sẽ có một cuộc hội thoại về chiếc xe. Rồi, Quốc, tell us something that you love about cars.
Cars are my passion. Really, anything that moves is my passion. I love cars, boats, planes. I get really excited about all that stuff. But when I was a little kid, I fell in love with the movie Cars. And after that, I started drawing them. And I loved to draw. Up until I was like 11 or 12 years old, I would draw these cars. And I got pretty good at it, I will say. But, I don't know, I love cars so much because they are like art to me. They look really cool and they're fun to drive and they make cool noises, especially like the fast ones. And so I take lots of photos of them and I try to go on rides whenever I can in fast cars. And a couple months ago, I got to drive a really nice car.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What was that nice car?
I drove a Ferrari F430 Scuderia. It is a racing spec Ferrari, which is basically a race car for the street. It is made of carbon fiber, so like everything is carbon fiber. The doors, the seats. There's no door handles. It's just like a little rope that you pull to get in and out of the car. And it's like right on the ground. There's like this much clearance. And I was riding in it, and the guy looked at me. He's like, "Hey, do you want to drive it?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And so he pulled over. We switched around, and it was super cool. It's one of these cars where, in order to shift gears, instead of using a shifter, there's these things called paddle shifters. So they're on the steering wheel, and you have to, in this car, use the paddle shifters. And so you're driving, and it's like you're going so crazy fast, and then you hit the paddle shifter, and then it's so crazy. The shifts are so hard. The acceleration is so wild, and the noise is amazing because the engine's right behind you. So it was so cool. Now it made me want to have a really cool car someday.
Oh, man. So, here's a question. I don't know a ton about cars. Like, I have a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of experience. But, like, for someone that's first getting a car and doesn't know, like, anything, what would you say is important for taking care of it?
You want to get your oil changed as often, about every 5,000 miles. That's the most important thing. And follow your car's maintenance schedule. A lot of cars that are modern will tell you when you need to get maintenance. And if you buy a new car, then that service will be free. If not, then you're going to have to pay for parts and things like that. But I don't do any of that work myself. I let the dealer, the people that are really good at that stuff, to do that stuff. Because I think they're really cool and they're fun to drive, but I don't know how to use tools to fix them for myself. So I can't really help you. But I would say get your oil changed and make sure you put the right gas in your car, and you should be okay.
Okay. And I know in Vietnam, cars are not as common as they are here. I mean, people have them, obviously. The honking outside, that is awesome. That's very Vietnam. But, like, what do you know about motorbikes?
I actually had a semi when I lived in Boston. When I was a young kid, I had to go to these classes that were early in the morning, and my parents didn't really want to drive me, so I got a semi. We call it a moped, and I drove it to school and to this class that was in the morning. It was this church class, and oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, I used to go to this class called seminary. It's for church, and I would go even when it was snowing, and I drove it every day until one day I had an accident. And I fell, and I hurt my wrist really badly. I think I broke my wrist, and I never rode it ever again.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of really sad.
It is. It was cool, though. We still have it. I haven't driven it in a long time, but it's in my garage back home in Boston. But I would love to learn about the culture of semis and mopeds in Vietnam. I like to go fast. I should probably not say how fast I've gone because I don't want to get in trouble. But I like to go fast. And one time I drove on a racetrack and I went really fast there. That was super, super cool. But I was super curious about the guys that drove the fast mopeds in Vietnam, because I know that some people didn't really like them very much because they would go crazy fast and drive really recklessly. I don't like to drive like that, but I am curious to know like what they do to those mopeds to make them so fast. So if you know anything about that stuff, we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah. And if you have any other passions that you love, please share in the comments. We'd love to connect more with you and get to know who you are.
Yeah.
Bye bye. Yeah.